Hey, what's up, TT Nation? It's Josiah. Before we hop into the show, just wanted to mention I've been posting a lot over on LinkedIn and been just building connections over there. And if we haven't connected yet, I would love for you to just reach out to me or shoot me a connection request over on LinkedIn. Just search for Josiah Novak and you'll find my profile. It's just my face with a yellow background. So shoot me a connection request and I'd love to just hang out with you over on LinkedIn if you're on that platform. And without further ado, let's jump into the podcast. All right, we're back. Friday Fitness. We're talking about an important topic, fat loss essentials. I can't stand when I see, even to this day, man, I still see marketing directed at people who are desperate for results, okay? So you'll see things like 10 times your fat burning, or jack up your testosterone for rapid fat loss, or finally the fat loss solution. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give it right back to you. I'm gonna give you the fat loss essentials because I'm just so sick and tired of people not knowing what these are. So you can literally wipe the slate clean. You don't have to fall for the nonsense anymore. You have your essential toolkit when it comes to fat loss. And this will just put a stamp on things from now until all of eternity, all right? So what are the fat loss essentials that you should be concerned about? Well, number one, calorie deficit. Like, that's it, number one. That is the king of fat loss, calorie deficit. Anybody who tells you differently, either one, they just don't know, right? They're just not educated enough, so they heard something from a friend, their brother's, uncle's, dog's, cousin told them that they went keto and they lost a bunch of weight. So keto is how you lose fat. Nope. Okay. Calorie deficit just simply means this: you burn more calories than you eat. When you burn more calories than you eat, or you eat less calories than you burn, whatever, it's the same thing, your body has to then jump into its emergency fund to support your everyday activity and brain function and body functions and all that stuff. What's your emergency fund? Body fat, okay? So calorie deficit has to be there. Otherwise, the body is not going to burn fat. It's just not. This has been proven time and time again. But that's not the only thing that I suggest you have as an essential part of your fat loss toolkit. Number two is a system. You need to have a clear-cut system if losing fat is on the top of your goal chart or sheet or whatever method you write down your goals with. Here's the thing though. A system has to be a couple things. Number one, has to be sustainable, has to be effective, and it also has to be enjoyable. So we call it the 3M system: movement, muscle, meals. We're not going to get into it here. This will be a great topic for Transformation Tuesday where we deep dive. By the way, if you're not subscribed to the channel, tuning in on Tuesdays, we do a deep dive on a topic or we interview a really interesting guest and we spend a lot of time on the show. But this is quick, right? So 3M system, movement, muscle, meals. So that's number two. Number three, fat loss essential. You gotta keep as much muscle as possible. So you gotta have a muscle retention or muscle building plan. Pretty much the same thing, okay? What does this mean in a nutshell? Well, you need to keep your body strong. Don't fall into the trap of thinking you gotta do a ton of cardio, you gotta start running, you got to do yoga, which yoga is great, by the way. Not knocking yoga, it's great. You got to do, more endurance work. There might be a time and place for some more cardio, but at the end of the day, you got to lift heavy weights safely, of course. Now, immediately people go, "Oh my God, I'm going to throw my back out doing deadlifts." No. I'm not talking about that. You could use machines and lift heavy. Okay, you could use safe machines that provide stability, a path for you to actually feel the muscle work. But you got to train heavy enough to where your body goes, I want to hold on to muscle or I want to build new muscle, okay? Because muscle is really metabolically demanding, meaning it'll burn more calories and it'll help support your fat loss efforts, right? If you don't have muscle or you're not building muscle or giving your body a reason to burn more calories, it's not going to be as effective of a fat loss routine, all right? So those are three essentials. Let's do one more. You need to have an identity that results in fat loss, okay? Now, I know I'm about to go full Tony Robbins on you, but this is the truth, okay? You need to have your identity tied to your fitness routine. Meaning
Meaning this: you need to move more because that's who you are. You need to go to the gym because that's just part of who you are. You need to eat healthier, high protein meals, control your calories because that's just who you are. All right? Like, I'm so sick and tired of people temporarily transforming and then going back to who they were before because their identity is still tied to this version of themselves that is out of shape, overweight, lazy, undisciplined, and truthfully, they just don't really care that much. You gotta tie your identity to your fitness. And this is not done in an unhealthy way. I'm not talking about everything's about my abs and look how cool my abs are. Look at my biceps. That's what makes me special. No. I'm talking about the standard for how you take care of yourself so that you can show up in whatever arenas you are in, whether it's your church, your business, your home, and you can serve from a full cup. All right? So you can be out there doing what you do at a high level because you take good care of yourself. So your identity has to be tied to this. Your fitness has to be a part of your identity, a permanent part. All right? Otherwise, this is temporary. You're going to go back to nachos and Netflix. Okay? Very fast, because that's what your identity is tied to. You're just doing this temporarily because someone told you to do it. Right? So let's raise our standards. Guys, that's it. I'm going to wrap up there. That's our essential fat loss toolkit, our essential fat burning essentials. Maybe a little bit surprising. I didn't talk about special foods or supplements because honestly, none of that stuff matters if we don't get these things right. Make sure you subscribe to the show. Leave a rating and review. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to the channel. Life moves fast. Make it count. Peace.
Thanks so much for tuning in to today's episode of the True Transformation Podcast. We really appreciate you listening and would love for you to review the show wherever you listen, whether that's on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, or another podcast platform. If you enjoyed the show, let us know. What else would you like to hear? What other guests would you like us to have on? We always take your feedback into serious consideration. As always, if you're looking for next steps, we do have resources for you. Just check the show notes or the description of the podcast for links on where to go next. We have everything from free resources to get you started on your fitness and fat loss process, or we even have coaching and paid programs if you're serious about going all in on your fitness. My name is Josiah Novak, and remember, life moves fast. Make it count. I'll talk to you in the next one. Thanks so much for listening.